The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O, the R, the K. Look yourself in the face. Look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, are you giving 120% every day? Every play? Give me 120 or don't give me nothing at all. The guy you competing against, you haven't outworked him. You've not outworked the person next to you. You've not out-hustled them. You've not out-grind them. You've not outdone them. You're not locked in. Bring all your passion. Bring heart. Every single game, every single play. Put forth 120% or don't ask nobody to do nothing to you. The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, man. Good morning to everybody. It is TGIF, baby. And we are going to just kick back, chill out, look at this market, talk about some cryptos. Got a lot of news to get into, man. A lot of things happened yesterday. And boy, oh boy, was it absolutely bullish for the cryptocurrency market. I know people are like, oh, price action, it's down, it's this, it's that. Look, you got to understand what's coming and look at what's coming your way and look at what's happening in this cryptocurrency world to understand where this market's going. Don't get sucked out by the lizard people. Don't do all that stuff, man, because when you look at the news, this thing is absolutely ready to explode. And it's just a matter of time. I was looking at the news yesterday. I was over there posting on TikTok about the news. Well, this thing is ready to rock and roll. It is just a matter of time. It is absolutely a long weekend this weekend. So we are going to rock out on this Friday, but at the same time, understand that going into long weekends, markets are always down. Stock markets closed on Monday. Everybody usually liquidates a lot of their positions on Friday. So, but hey, you can't get caught up in that mess. You got to know where you're at. You got to know where you're going, and you got to know what you're holding, baby. And if you don't know them things, you might as well just go ahead and call it a wrap. And like me and my man Junior says, there's no crying in crypto, baby. We're here for the long haul. We're here for the run. There's no crying in crypto. This market's ready to explode. We're going to get in. We're going to get after this thing. And we're going to look at why I say that. Glenn, good morning. Grand Rising, brother. Yes, it is Friday. Junior, good morning. Grand Rising to you, brother. How are you? How are you? Yes, smash that like button, y'all. Hit that like button because we are in the building and we are going to talk about this thing. We're going to put it down. We're going to look at the markets. So it is a beautiful Friday. Cold as hell here, but a little bit colder than normal up here up north. But hey, that's all right, baby. We can curl up underneath the blankets and watch this news and watch this market get ready to go. And that's where we're at, and that's what we're doing. And this market's getting ready to go. And if you don't see where this market's going and you don't see what's going on right now, and you ain't watching your bags and you don't understand the significance of blockchain right now and blockchain technology, then you just don't understand crypto. You just don't understand it. And by now you should know. And if you're new here, stick around because you will know because we talk about it. So let's go ahead. Let's get in. Let's get after it, baby. Let's do our thing. Marco, good morning. Let's see what we got. Let's see what else we got going on in this chat. Add predictions. ADA prediction. ADA prediction for me right now. I think ADA is going to go to. I'm going to say, ADA is going to go to right around $8 in this run. That's where I think it's going. I just did something to my chat here. Hold on, guys. There we go. We're back. My ADA prediction. Marco is right around $8. I hope I just didn't block you, Marco. If I did, I'm sorry. Nope, there you are. I had to catch back up on my chat. Right around $8 this run. I think ADA is going to get there. I think it has all the elements to get that high. Michael, good morning. How are you, my brother? So there's my ADA prediction. We're throwing out predictions today. Yo, Heat, what's going on? What's going on, brother? You up, you at it, baby. Let's go. Man, Heat's in the building, TGIF, baby, on a long weekend. Get ready for this long weekend. Let's go. You guys saying what's up to each other. Vote prediction. Vote right now. If it pulls off everything that it can pull off, if it can keep its community together, Volt's got maybe a 10x in it, and then that's about it. A lot of people are holding Volt, and a lot of people got in early, and a lot of people are going to be looking to take profits. And don't think that the people that got in early that have been holding this whole bear market are not going to take profits at a 10x. Painful. Dog, why is it painful? Why is it painful? I love this market right now. Crow prediction. Crow prediction, Michael, $2. Right around $2, right around $1.92. You agree? Yeah. I mean, it's just part of the game, right? These guys are going to be taking profits, man. You know, like they didn't hold the whole bear market not to take profits. Crow prediction right around $1.92, Michael. That's kind of where I think we're headed. Again, because a lot of people have been holding Crow for a long time, and as it pumps, it's going to people will be selling off on Crow. And Crow's biggest, it would have probably pumped to $5 this bull market at the height of the bull market, except for they released all them tokens back into supply. Curtis, good morning, my brother. Crow $2, I agree. Yeah, Crow's got a lot of good news around it, and we're gonna get into some of that here in a minute. What's up, Curtis? But yeah, it would have went higher, except for they released the tokens back into supply, so kind of cuts into your profit when they do that. So that's why I didn't like it when they did it, and that's why I don't like it now. My man Curtis is in the building. What's up? What's going on, baby? We got this long weekend coming up, Curtis. Yeah. We got this long weekend coming up. Markets are probably going to trade sideways this whole time right now. Through this whole long weekend, but it's okay because, man, there's a lot of good news out there. Crow limit. You put a limit order in. I'm actually probably going to buy some more Arrow today at some point. Let's see how far down this market's going to dip on this Friday. Because there's going to be a sell-off this Friday just because it's a long weekend. There'll be a little bit of a pullback. You can start to see it now with Bitcoin and everything else. Bitcoin's down to like 109. So there will be. So I'm gonna probably buy some more Arrow this weekend. And that's me DCAing up, not down, because my price on Arrow is much lower than what it is right now. You're trying to have 1,000 of them. That's not a bad number, Curtis. That's not a bad number at all. But now's the time. We'll get into a lot of that stuff today. But the Asian markets, red, European markets, red. That's why Ken's not on here, because Ken's over there dumping his stocks in the market. Pre-markets over here in the United States, red. They're all red. They all suck today. Just because, like I said, the sell-off's coming. Getting over here in the cryptocurrency market, though, look at what's going on, y'all. Look at what's going on. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at 47. We're still in neutral. No big deal. We haven't moved from there. But look at this number right here, y'all. Altcoin season, 57 out of 100, right? Look at this. Look at this. We're in the 40s when we streamed on Wednesday. Market cap sitting at 3.8 trillion right now. Got to get back up to that 4 trillion mark. The ETF volume, it was kind of crappy yesterday. 218 million positive inflows there. So kind of crappy. But you see Bitcoin. You see the Bitcoin. You see Ethereum right here. Ethereum and Bitcoin. Their ETFs, where Ethereum was really pumping and getting ready to overtake Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin ETF said, hold on, hold my beer. Yesterday, it said, hold my beer. I'm about to take off. And then the Bitcoin ETFs just started to explode yesterday with positive inflows. But you knew that was coming. Bitcoin's not going to sit back and just take this whooping from Ethereum. That's not going to happen. Ken's over there laughing at me. There he is. He's done selling, y'all. Ken's done selling. So he's in the chat right now. He sold off his mill, and now he's ready to chat. What's up, Ken? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, brother. Happy Friday afternoon to you, man. Thanks for dumping the European markets over there, brother. But the Bitcoin dominance sitting here at 57.6%, ticking up, baby. Ticking up. And Ethereum sitting at 13.8%. The rest of the altcoins sitting at 28.6%. Let's go. We got $1.01 trillion in longs and shorts ready to get liquidated by the lizard people sitting out here right now. That's an extremely high number of longs and shorts sitting out here on the market. So, there will be some price fluctuation going into the weekend so that they can wreck all of them. So if your longs and shorts are sitting out there, know your price levels and know when to get in and know when to get out, or the lizard people will suck the hell out of your liquidity. We're going to talk about Pyth and Chainlink for a minute, y'all, because this is absolutely monster news. Monster news. Listen, listen, y'all. I've been telling y'all for a while. You don't have to risk your money in low market cap plays, even though we like low market cap plays. We like to go to the casino every now and then. You know what I mean? Every now and then we like to play around, roll the dice, go to the casino, see if we can't hit one of these low market plays and then cash out and move on. But you don't got to put a large portion of your portfolio in these low market cap memes to make money. People say, oh man, these altcoins, these top 200s, you can't make any money there. There's no money to be made. It's too slow. It's too, greedy. That's greed. Look, Chainlink and Pyth are selected to deliver U.S. economic data on blockchain, right? So they're going to start delivering all the GDP data on Chainlink and Pyth. Why Chainlink and Pyth? Because they're oracles. They're built to move data. I've been telling you guys about Chainlink forever. It's built to move data. None of this tokenized assets, none of this stuff with the banks, none of this ISO stuff can run without Chainlink. And now you see Pyth starting to put its foot in the market. And Pyth is literally a Solana version of Chainlink, right? Because Chainlink doesn't run on Solana. So Pyth runs on Solana. So look, here you have the blockchain technology strictly going into the United States government to start to move the government GDP data across blockchains. Bullish, baby. Bullish, right? And I think ADA at some point is going to be integrated into the government as well. And that's why I give ADA a $8 target, right? Because I think not necessarily for GDP data and stuff like that, but I think as the government moves on, you're going to start to see ADA integrated into their ecosystem. But this is absolutely massive news, you guys. Massive news. And so what happens when you get massive news like this? Well, let's have a look. Look at Pyth. up 92%. It was up over 100%. Let me say that to you guys again. Pyth yesterday was up over 100% on this news, up 92% today. So I'm just saying to you guys, like, this news can send any altcoin, right? It can send any altcoin. Look at what it did to Pyth. Look at Chainlink didn't move that far, because look at the market cap on Chainlink, right? It's going to take a minute for Chainlink's market cap to move, much like XRP and everybody else. You just don't move that type of market cap overnight. It just doesn't happen. But look at this run. Look at Pyth. Look at that run. Just based off of that news right there. Look at that run. Look. We were talking about Pyth at under a penny. We were on stream saying, yo, Pyth might do a little something over here. Pyth might do a little something. You know what I mean? It's Chainlink on Solana, right? It's Chainlink on Solana. So look at that pump. We were talking about this under a penny. So watch out for it. Might go. Look, indicators. If you use your indicators, the indicators told you to buy right here. Told you to buy right here. See no momentum starting to change. Boom, took off. Over 90-something%. Over 100%, actually. Look at that move, though. Look at that move. And I'm telling you, this is what can happen to your altcoin. This is the bull. Look at that bull run. That's a bull run type of move right there. That's a bull run move. Fairground, what's going on, brother? What's going on, brother? How are you? How are you? Hope you good morning, good early afternoon to you as well, my brother. Got 20. You got 20K at Crow? Yo, we'll look at Crow in a minute. Crow is moving, baby. When pumped so I can sell. You know, Crow's pumping, man. Crow's been pumping. But look at this move from Pyth right here. So this just goes to show you that any news, right? Any news like this, right? It can happen at any time. It can happen at a spur of the moment, like it did yesterday. At any given time, these things can take off. At any given time, there is stuff going on behind the scenes with blockchain technology that is being absolutely delivered right now. Absolutely delivered. So, you know, it is what it is. Oh my God, is that my boy Timsky? Show enough. What's up, Timsky? What's up, my man? I was about to take a drink of coffee. You showed up, man. Made me put my coffee down, man. What is going on, my dog? Crow's moving, baby. Crow is moving, man. I'm loving where Crow is right now. We're gonna look at Crow. I actually want to pull an article on Crow real quick, because Crow's got a lot going on. A lot right here. You look at the Cronos, right? Cronos ecosystem, right? It's actually just launched plans for a tokenized asset platform, right? So here's the thing, and we talk about this a lot on this stream right here. Not a lot of other people talk about this on their streams, because you know they're baked into what they own, what they talk about, all that stuff, right? Not here. Yeah, my man Timsky's in the building, so we got to step our game up right now. We got to step our game up. My man Timsky's in the building. What is up, dog? Man, where you been, man? Where you been, dog? I love to see the OGs come back. What's up, Timsky? But yeah, Crow, when you look at Crow, I'm telling you guys, this thing's, they're launching a tokenized platform, right? And not to mention, you're looking at Truth Social over here with Crow, right? You're looking at Truth Social over here with Crow, launching all kinds of different products on Crow. You know, different investment products, different things like that, right? So Crow quietly in the background has been getting ready to roll all these things out, right? Not to mention, Crow is really trying to compete with Robinhood and start to move some stocks and things like that over to their platform. Now, understand, I don't particularly care for the Cronos platform, how it looks, how it acts. You know what I mean? I think that they could use a better UI, an easier UI. But the bottom line here is it's not about the UI. It's about the execution of rolling out new products. It's about the execution of linking up with big name partners. It's all about execution. And Crow has executed, right? Crow has done its thing. And when you look at it, because it's done its thing, when you look at price action on Crow, I'll bring it up on a chart here in a minute. But when you look at price action on Crow, Crow has been on an absolute monster run for a couple days, right? And I'm telling you guys right now, Crow was at what? Oh, we'll bring this up. We got to look at the chart, baby. We got to look at the chart. Which one do we want to look at? Let's look at this one. So Crow right now is at 30 cents, right? Look at this. Look at what happened right here. Look at this is a 4-hour chart, right? Look at that run that Crow was on. Crow got all the way up to 4 cents, right? At the top of this wick right here is 4 cents, right? It came from like a penny, from like 10 cents up to 4 cents, right? When you look at this, so it has to cool off, right? It has to cool off. You can't make this run and not cool off. You have to cool off. And that's exactly what it's doing right now. It's cooling off. And I told you guys, when people make runs like this, right? When somebody goes from all of this support level all the way and makes this massive run, usually what happens is halfway through this massive run, let's just call this right here. We'll just eyeball this, right? This is about halfway. This is about the halfway point right here, right? Usually it pulls back about halfway and then boom, it takes off again and makes another run, right? So where is this halfway point? This halfway point is right about 2.6, about 26 cents, right? So don't be surprised if Crow comes back down here to 26 cents, starts to trade sideways for a little while and takes off. Will it come back down to 26 cents? I don't know. It may hold right here where it is at 30 cents and take off again, right? But usually the trend is it'll come down halfway from that run, start to set a support line and take off again, right? But Crow has been on a massive run. So if your DCA, if your average price on Crow was anywhere at 10 cents or less, you should have took a little bit of money off the table up here at 4 cents. You should have took a little bit of money off the table. I'm not saying empty your bags. I'm not saying do any of that, but you should have de-risk yourself a little bit at 4 cents, right? Not totally, maybe 25%, maybe 10%, maybe 25%, whatever your percent is, you should have took some right around 3.5, 4 cents. You should have de-risk a little bit. Because you know it's got to come down. But Crow's gonna make a massive run. Crow's gonna be over $2. This run right here, this run, it'll be over $2. No doubt about it. I do believe that they have too much going on right now. They got too much going on. Oh, you've been hanging with the twins. Joining the army, man? Damn, man. They're joining the army. Damn, bro. That's a lot. That's a lot, Tipsky. We missed you though, but that makes sense. That makes sense, brother. That makes a lot of sense, man. Take care of that. So Mo, what's going on, my brother? What's going on, my brother? Yo, we in the land of Oz, baby. Yes, we are in the land of Oz. With Trump, with Trump being the wizard. Yeah, it feels that way sometimes, brother. It feels that way sometimes, man. But yo, man, this market is look, the news is crazy bullish right now. Crazy bullish, man. And and then you have the news of where, you know, in the United States, they're getting ready to launch, you know, an onboard way for the United States residents to be able to trade on cryptocurrency platforms that are not available in the United States for us to trade on, i.e. Binance, you know, in certain areas, things like that. They're going to make it really easy for the United States residents to onboard into some of these Asian platforms and things like that. Well, and they just came out with that yesterday. And these centralized exchanges can just fill out one form, and if it's approved, then we're going to be able to trade on them platforms. There's going to be an onboarding for us to trade on them platforms. So, yeah, look, they're opening the door right now. They're opening the door for everybody. So, and Nancy is the wicked witch. You ain't lying. Where's Seiko? Nancy Pelosi is a wicked witch, and it's safe. They're making it safe for her to walk around DC with her walker now, though. You know, they got the National Guard out there, so she can walk around with her walker. But yo, Crow, I'm telling you guys, it's prime to move, man. This thing is, look at this move. This move is absolutely crazy. But the big move is from Pyth. The big move is from Pyth, and it's all based on this right here, Chainlink and Pyth, working with the government. I told you guys, I keep telling you guys, I keep circling Chainlink. Chainlink is the key to all of this. They're the key to moving all of this data, and they're the key to moving all of this financial system. They are the key. They're the key to interoperability. Chainlink is that dude, and a lot of people don't want to admit that because they're so stuck on, well, this one particular token is going to move the whole financial system, or this token is going to move the whole financial system. They don't realize nothing moves without data. And Chainlink, because it has the oracles, is built to move the data. Right? Nobody's successful without moving the data. So, and that's why everybody, you see all of these projects, including RLUSD, link up with Chainlink to say, we want to partner with you, because they have to have this data movement in order to move this data. And Pyth is the Chainlink of Solana. Because remember, Chainlink didn't operate on a Solana chain. None of its oracles operated on a Solana chain, which bred Pyth, right? That's what bred Pyth to make the oracles for the Solana chain. So the more Solana moves, right, into this oracle atmosphere with moving data, and the more these companies use Solana to want to move their data across Solana, and the more Solana gets into real world tokenized assets, the more Solana has to be interoperable with the rest of these blockchains, the bigger Pyth is going to get. Pyth is available on most centralized exchanges. Let's pull it up. Let's see. I can tell you. It's available on most centralized exchanges, but it's available right on the Solana network too. You can buy it right on DeFi. It's Solana-based token. So, let's have a look. See. Let's have a look. See. You're liking the Soul coins? So Soul is gonna be Soul's not a sleeper, man. Understand when it comes to Solana has a ton of volume, and Solana has a lot of venture capitalists in it, right? So everybody looks at Solana like a meme coin play, right? It's all about meme coins. It's all about meme coins. But when you look at it, a lot of people are building on Solana. And proof. Look, the United States government's about to use Pyth. It has to move its stuff. It has to move its stuff through the Solana blockchain as well as everybody else. And in order to do that, it's gotta have Pyth. You know, I'm waiting for ETH to fly. ETH's gonna fly. ETH's gonna go. They're playing with ETH right now, but Pyth is available on Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, Upbit, OKX, BitGet, Mexi, obviously. Mexi lists everything. Gate.io and KuCoin are the big ones. You can flip to page 2 if you want. There's probably some, some smaller ones over here. HTX, that's a pretty nice size one. Crypto.com is available on Cronos. Binget, but you can buy it DeFi too, right through Jupe or Radium as well. But yeah, so it's available on most of the big exchanges. So Pyth is not a token that you cannot that's going to be hard to buy. If you're on a centralized exchange, you can buy Pyth. But yeah, the thing about it is though, is like when you look at this thing, we talked about Pyth here when it was under a penny, and we're like, yo, man, we're talking about it like this thing has the ability to do something like Chainlink, right? It has the ability, right? And I think it was me and Big Watcher talking about it at one point, and I told him, I said, yo, look, I'm gonna buy a small bag, and I'm just gonna hold on to it. Like I'm not gonna throw a lot of money at it, but I'm gonna buy a small bag and just hang on to it, kind of like a moon bag, see where it goes, right? Well, yesterday it went, and that's the advantage, right? Like people are talking about, oh my God, I gotta play in all these low market cap meme coins. No, you don't. That you're going to casino when you do that. And that's okay, because we all go to the casino. We all love the casino. I love the casino too. I love it with about 1 to 3% of my portfolio. Hit the like button. So I love it with like I said, about 1 to 3% of my portfolio. That's what I love it with. And that's all it'll ever get. But plays like Chainlink, plays like XRP, plays like Ethereum, plays like Tron, plays like Solana, right? Solana's going $500, right? I got a 500 price target on Solana. It may beat that, right? It may kill that, right? But a low ball prediction, like I said, is Friday, so we can just sit here and throw predictions out, right? $500 is kind of where I'm looking at Solana to be. It may go to 7. It may go to a G. But conservatively, I'm going to look at it and say that's a $500 project right there. I'm going to look at BNB and say BNB is a $1,000 project in this run. In this bull run, BNB is a $1,000 project, right? And it's got $1,000 written all over it, right? And I'm being really conservative. I told you guys earlier, I think Crow's got a $2 target on it. This run. I'm not talking about next run. I'm talking about this bull run. I'm talking about this run right now that we're in. Right? People have these projections of, 5-10 years. I'm not projecting out 5-10 years. I'm not looking that long. I'm looking for this run right here. And I think Crow can do $2. I think BNB can do 1,000. I think Solana can do 500. I think Bitcoin's going to 100.5, right? Some people will say 200, some people will say 300, some people say 100.5 is a nice conservative effort, a nice conservative prediction for Bitcoin. 100.5. Ethereum $8,000. you know, somewhere around 8,000. Ethereum is probably a 2x right here from where it is right now. Roughly about a 2x, right? From where it is right now. You know, conservative, nice conservative number right there, right? So if you have these numbers in your head and you look at them and you go, okay, that's a 2x. If it does a 2x, I'm gonna take my profit on the way up, and then I'm gonna leave a moon back there. And if it does a 4x, then I'm good too, right? XRP, $5, $5 to $8 is run. That's what XRP's got in it, in my opinion. That's what it's got in it. You know, we look at these things, right? Let's go down through them. Tron's probably got $1.50 in it this run. Cardano, we talked about it, $8. Cardano's sitting at 82 cents right now. Cardano can do a 10x from here if it links up with the government, right, and does what I think it's going to do and works with the United States government. Because remember, Charles Hoskinson is over there, like, you know, basically teaching the government about blockchains, right? So you don't think that he's going to throw ADA into some of these processes and procedures that they have going on over there? Of course he is. Come on, man. This is all about who you know, what you know. You know, why do you think Chainlink is sitting there doing what it's doing right now? You know, they were invited to the crypto summit. They were the only ones who really sat there and talked and really made any common sense at that summit, right? So, and Chainlink's the only one who can bring all this together. XRP a buy or sell? XRP under $3 is usually a good bet. I wouldn't go all in on it though. I would ladder myself in. If you're not already in XRP, I would say, you know, if you got $500 to put in or $1,000 to put in or whatever you got to put in, I'd put it in 25% increments on the way down. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it, you look at XRP, and let's say XRP goes, you know, XRP's a five, like I said, between $5 and $8 right now is where I think it's going to top out. When you look at it, it's 287 right now. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can ladder in. What's up, Big Watch, dude? There's my dog. What's up? I just said so. I told everybody me and you were talking about Python on this stream months ago. How's that going to impact Quant? Quant. I'm so 50-50 on Quant right now, right? Because I think Quant's going to have a place, right? But Quant can't move data, right? Quant can only connect blockchains, right? It can only make a Solana blockchain connect to a Ethereum blockchain, or a private blockchain connect to a decentralized blockchain. But when you talk about tokenizing things, interoperability, and really tokenizing things, right, and really moving tokenized assets across chain, Quant can't do that. Quant, it's incapable of doing that. It's not built to do that. It's only built to connect the two chains together, but it's not built to move the amount of data that needs to be moved to make all of these big money transactions and all of these real world tokenized assets and everything else flow through the blockchain. The only two I don't want to say the biggest two projects to do that are Chainlink and Pyth. That's it, because you need oracles in order to do that. Over a year ago, yeah, Big Watch, we was on it over a year ago. Remember, I said I'm gonna buy a small bag and just hold it. Well, I bought a small bag. I actually found it yesterday. I forgot what wallet it was in. It was so long. I forgot what wallet it was in. So understand understand the difference between the two. A lot of these people talk about, oh, we got interoperability. We're going to connect. We're able to connect all these blockchains together. That's great. You're able to connect all these blockchains together, but can you take a tokenized real estate transaction and move it across your platform to every single blockchain? The answer to that question is no. The answer to the question is absolutely no. You can't move that amount of data. And this is why proof. I let people talk and I let people do their deep dives, and I don't say much, right? And I don't say much. I sit back and just watch, because this is why Chainlink and Pyth are now working with the United States government to move all of their data across all of the rest of these chains for GDP. And this is just the start for all of the GDP data going back 6 years, right? Going back 6 years, right? So when you look at it, this is why these two projects particularly were picked to do this, because they're the only two who can. If Quant could do this, it would be on this list. It can't do it. So people can tell you whatever they want. They can do a deep dive. Oh, we're going to do a deep dive into this particular project, and we're going to tell you everything that it can do, and we're going to do all this, and we're going to do all that. Bottom line is, if you can't move large amounts of data across blockchains, you're only relevant to a certain point. You're only relevant to connect the two blockchains together, not to move the data. Spam coin. Yeah, probably, Curtis. So, you got to know the difference. And that's the difference. But I let people talk. Like, I don't get into debates with people anymore. I let people talk, because at the end of the day, talk is cheap. Like, you've got to be able to produce. I told you guys that this no longer is cryptocurrency a prediction model. Well, we think that our blockchain can do this. Well, we think our blockchain can do that. Well, no, we're to the point in crypto right now, and we've talked about this a lot here, where this is about execution, right? And we've been in a prediction market with cryptocurrency forever. We released this blockchain and we believe that it's faster than everybody else's, and we think that it can do this, and we think that it's going to be able to do this. Well, guess what? Now you're messing with an administration that says, well, we're going to put all of this to the test. And then you're messing with ISO that's getting ready to come out in November that says, we're even going to test you further, right? We're going to test you with your theories further. And either you're going to be able to do it or you're not going to be able to do it. And this is why I'm telling you guys, in 26, there's going to be projects that promise a whole bunch of stuff for a long time that are not going to be able to produce what they said that they could do. Because we're in a put up or shut up state right now. And not everybody's going to make it. You had a good amount of Pyth. Oh man, you dumped it. How you feeling this morning after watching that chart? Big watch. Look at Pyth. Pyth is up another 2% on the hour, or 8% on the hour. But look at it on the day. Look at that. 104 on the day. 104 on the daily. Scottish, there's my guy. What's up, Scottish? What's going on, man? What's going on, brother? I think it's going to be great. Bitcoin does have to stay above 100K. And I think it will. I think there's a point where the Bulls step in and go, all right, we're good. And I think 109 is around that point. 109, 108, somewhere up in there. Because then big money's then big institutions that were buying at these levels right here, which, going back, these levels were pretty key levels going back that they were buying at. Big money was buying at these levels right here. If it drops below 100, they're gonna lose too much money. Yeah, I agree, Scottish. You invest in infrastructure plays, right? And this is what I always like to say: infrastructure plays, infrastructure plays, infrastructure plays. And I keep saying it over and over and over again. Invest in projects that are building a infrastructure that makes sense, right? That makes sense, right? And them are the ones that are going to make it, right? That they're going to be the ones that make it. Right now, it's all about infrastructure plays. I agree, Selma. Tariffs did get the ball rolling with these things. Tariffs got the ball rolling, and what you're starting to see now too is you're starting to see that people are starting to come to the realization, right, that the dollar, the currency, it doesn't matter, the dollar, whatever country you're in, your currency has been so devalued that it makes sense. It makes sense for you to invest your wealth into Bitcoin or something like that that's deflationary, because your money has been so inflationary that you can't save. You can't save. You can't put your money in a bank and get any return that's going to benefit you at all in the long run. And people are starting to come to the realization, like, if I invest in Bitcoin, which is a deflationary asset, yes, it's volatile, but it's getting very less volatile. And JP Morgan said this the other day. They came out with an article about Bitcoin starting to really stabilize itself as being very less volatile, which makes more people want to go in it because it's such of a deflationary asset that it makes sense. It's the only way for people really to make money. You can't. We were taught for so long that if you just put your money in a savings account and you just save your money, and eventually you're gonna win that game. That's a loser's game every single time, and twice on Sunday. You can't win. You can't gain wealth by doing that. You're sticking hype. I love hype, Scottish. I've been talking about hype, Scottish, since it was $17. And I have hype. At $17, I looked at hype and I said, you know what? This platform is exactly what everybody has been calling for in the DeFi space, in the crypto space, for years and years and years and years and years and years. And these guys, and at $17, I said, if these guys can deliver this platform the way that they laid it out, this thing's going to move. Go back and watch the videos. I looked at hype. I talked about hype at $17, and I said, this is something different in the space. This is an infrastructure play right here that's very much different. Nobody else is doing it. Everybody else has tried it. Some people have tried, some people have failed. But I said, these guys absolutely look like they're going to deliver on this. And not only did they deliver to this point, they delivered far exceeded anything that I thought that they would be at this moment. At this moment right now, I did not think that hype would be at $44.28. It outperformed even where I thought it was going to be. BTC should drop to 90K. Over this long weekend, you're going to see a dip in the market. You're going to see no ETF volume coming in, right? You're going to see, usually you see a sell-off on Fridays anyways, right? Usually you see that sell-off on Friday afternoons. It's going to be a little bit heavier this week because the stock markets are closed on Monday, right? So people de-risk on Friday afternoons. We know that. We talk about that all the time. So expect that pullback. Big Watch said he's been in crypto space too long to cry. We don't know crying in crypto, Big Watch. We say that all the time. Fuck it, man. You win some, you lose some, right? Fuck it, man. You sell, you buy, you do what you got to do, man. We don't cry here, baby. We don't cry here. That's right. Big Watch said it right. Big Watch said it exactly right. He's been in the crypto game way too long to cry. You know what I mean? Because you can't predict these things. You can't call these things, right? There's no way in hell that any retail investor would have called what happened yesterday with Pyth, right? There's no way in hell that any retail investor would have called what happened between Truth Social and Crow. You had to be behind the scenes and an insider to know that news was going to come out and send the market like that. You had to be an insider to know that. So, but if you were investing in infrastructure plays, right? Let's say you invested in a Crow because it's an infrastructure play. It has a blockchain. It's an exchange. It's a tradable token. It's a stakeable token. It runs the Cronos ecosystem. Crow is behind it, and you invested in that infrastructure play, then 9 times out of 10, you would have won that trade, right? If you would have invested in Pyth because it was an Oracle on a Solana network and it was an infrastructure play, then you would have won yesterday, right? But that's why I'm telling you, invest in infrastructure plays. That's my move. It's real world tokenized assets, infrastructure plays, AI, and that's where ISO tokens are going to run. They're all going to run. Even though I think ISO is way overblown. I think it's way overblown. I think that come November, people are going to kind of be disappointed in the outcome of what happens with the ISO situation. I think people are going to be disappointed with that. I don't think it's going to give them what they want out of these tokens. I do believe that the hype based around that ISO coming in November will pump these particular tokens, and I'm in it for the pump. But I do think that people will be disappointed when it comes to the ISO rollout. I don't think it's going to give them what they want. You ain't lying, some of the tariffs are monopoly money, man. They're making the United States money, but I think in the long run, they're going to hurt them. They're going to hurt them. It's going to hurt our economy. It's not going to make it better. It's going to hurt it. They're making money now, but that doesn't mean that it's good for the long term, right? You have short-term success, but long-term failure. You hit a new all-time high, Junior. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. I'm just catching up on the chat. A minute here, guys. Try to pull out what I can. Billy, crypto is going to create generational millionaires if you're invested in the right place. They'll create. You can get millions. You can get millions of dollars if you're invested in the right play. Ain't no crying in crypto. That's right, Big Watch. Ain't no crying in crypto. We don't cry here. There's no such thing as crying in crypto. It goes up, it goes down. You ride it up, you ride it down. You win, you lose. You take your wins, you take your wins. You celebrate your wins. You take your loss like a man. You take them on the chin, and you look at it and go, "Well, next. What's next?" Right? It's always about what's next, right? The whole key is to win more than you lose. You know. And the whole thing is, even when the market's down, you never lose until you sell. You don't lose until you sell at a loss. Junior said, "No pussies allowed." You ain't lying. You ain't lying. There's been projects that I've been in that have been way down, extremely low. I was upside down and in projects, like extremely upside down, and I DCA'd my way down. You know, I just kept buying and DCA'd my way down. I bought a little bit here, a little bit there on every single dip, and then all of a sudden, you know, I find out, you know, my level, my average cost is, you know, cut in half. And then all of a sudden the project takes off, and then all of a sudden now you're in profit way sooner than what you ever would have been if you would have just sat there and did nothing. That's the problem. Too many people sit here and do nothing. You know, they throw their money in investment, whether it's the stock market or whether it's crypto or whether it's whatever, and then they just sit there and they do nothing. They don't watch it. They don't buy more on the dips. They don't even know what's going on. They don't know anything about the stock. They don't know anything about the project. They do freaking nothing. They don't educate themselves. And they're the first ones on a stream like this coming on here whining and crying about, "Oh my God, I lost money." Well, what did you do? You bought the high. What did you buy more when it went down? Because it's back up now. But you're so far underwater, and them are the people that kill me, man. Them are the people right there who kill me. Don't get me started with them people because they're lazy. They're lazy. And they, you know, it's like throwing your money in a 401k and saying, "Here, manage this for me," but never checking on your 401k to see where it's at, to see should I change my investment, right? Should I change my investment? Should I go to a more aggressive strategy or a less aggressive strategy based on what I know is going on out here in the world? And then they sit there and they're like, "Oh my God, my 401k, I'm getting beat up on my 401k. It's down 50%. No shit. Did you look at the market? You didn't think it was a good idea to get out of that high risky 401k you were in and go to a moderate one? Like, come on, man. Like, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. But these are the people who come on here and cry, you know. "Oh my God, I lost $5,000 in Bitcoin because I bought at 124k. Well, why the hell did you buy the all-time high? You know, like, why did you buy it when it was at its highest? It didn't look good to you at 109, but it looked good to you at 124? Get out of here." You can buy Web3 music. I know you were launching that. My thoughts on ICP. Oh, I like ICP. Let's talk about ICP. ICP is one of these interesting projects, right? Oh, let's ICP. Remember me telling you guys at some point that there was tokens that I owned and tokens that I traded on a daily basis, right? ICP to me is a token that I don't own, I trade, right? But ICP is a very interesting project. It's sitting at $4.90 right now, right? It's interesting though, because ICP is doing a lot of things that really is doing a lot of things as a project that this world and this cryptocurrency needs, right? So when you look at ICP, if it can, yeah, go ahead, Junior. Well, share that link. If ICP can catch on and really start to be utilized, this thing can absolutely move. I just want to get to the numbers right here. The all-time high. I want you to think logically about this, right? Put your thinking hats on. Put your big boy hats on. Put your big boy pants on here for a minute, right? The all-time high for ICP is $750. Let that sink in for a minute. The all-time high for ICP is $750.73. It's currently sitting at $4.90. So let's think about this logically, right? Let's just have a thought. Let's pull this chart back and let's just have a thought here. The yearly chart, when we just pull back the yearly chart for ICP, look at where the yearly chart is. Look at that high right there, right? I lost it. Hold on. There we go. Of $14.61. $14.61. Right? And it's sitting at $4.90. So if you were bought ICP right now and it just got up to its yearly high, that's $10 a token that you're going to get. That's not even going back to $750 all-time high. That's literally just going back to a bear market all-time high in a crappy market. So what do I think about ICP? I think that ICP can probably do a 10x from where it is right now. If, you know, there's a lot of ifs, there's a lot of variables in any type of trading. But just pull the chart back. Just look at where it is. Don't pull it back any further than a year, right? Because you know that everybody bought in the last 12 months. If it gets back up to the $14, they're taking profit. So it's going to struggle right there, right? $750 all-time high. Getting back up to $750 is a tall task. Probably won't happen this bull run, but you don't need it to get there. You don't need it to get there. You just needed to get back up here to $14. And this $4.90 investment that you made for every token that you bought at $4.90 will be a $10 gain for you. It's the easiest math to do. The 401k system is set up to keep people. This 401k system is, you're right, it is. It's set up to keep people asleep and keep people broke. Think about it. Think about your retirement. Think about your 401k. What happens? You get it tax-free, right? They're investing your money tax-free, right? It sounds great coming out of your weekly check, right? And I have a 401k, so I'm talking about my own investment here, right? They give you your money tax-free coming out of your check. Looks great in your check. You don't got to pay taxes on 3% of your 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%, whatever you're investing, right? But then all of a sudden you get to a retirement age, and you say, "Well, I want to take my money out of my 401k." They want to charge you 15% of whatever you have in your 401k. You were better off paying taxes on it before you put it into the 401k than because you know the market's going to grow at about 4% a year. As on average, the market will grow about 4% a year. So for 4%, times that by 20 or 30 years, right? And if it grows 4% for you 20 or 30 years, well, guess what? You owe 15% on all of the money that you're about to take out. You were better off paying your 15%. You were better off paying your taxes on the money and then putting it into your 401k. You come out better. You come out better. It's robbery. It's thievery. These guys are just robbing you every single way that they could possibly rob you. It's the government will never allow you to get ahead. They'll never allow you. You think that they don't want you to be able to retire. They don't want you to have any wealth. Like, they could stop this inflation issue right now if they wanted to. They literally could stop it. They don't want to. Because a lot of them are gaining wealth off of exactly what's happening right now. They don't want to. They want to see you suffer. That's what I'm telling you. Like, a lot of people are moving their money to Bitcoin because it's deflationary. It goes down every single year. The supply goes less and less and less, and that's why all your people like BlackRock, I'm going to catch up on the chat, guys. I'm so sorry. But all your people like BlackRock and everybody else are investing in Bitcoin because it's a deflationary asset. I'm telling you, we've been taught since high school or whenever they were teaching you economics, put your money in a savings account, save forever. How's that working out for you? That's the biggest scam ever. Do the math on it. Literally do the math on it. If you put the 2-bit launch a new token, I'm not sure. Do the math on this though, right? If you put your money in a savings account, you got about a 2% interest rate. Over the course of 10 years, what do you got? 200 bucks? 200 bucks on 1,000, and 200 bucks on $10,000. What kind of money is that? Spend that shit on dinner. That's all you get. Meanwhile, these banks are taking the money that you're depositing in their bank. They're going and lending it out for mortgages and car loans and everything else and charging people 8%. They're only giving you 2% on your own money. You put your money in the bank, they go use it to lend out for car loans and everything else, and they give you 2%. That's robbery. That's absolute thievery. And they're allowed to get away with it. They're allowed to do it. And they charge you 20% on a credit card. 20% on your money. They charge you. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. You're lucky to get 1%. You ain't lying. You are lucky to get 1%, Big Watch. It's a scam. It really is. And people have to start calling it for what it is. See, here's the problem. Everybody's scared to call it for what it is. Just call it for what it is. It's a scam. The banks are scamming you. Just call it for what it is. But you need them. You need them in order to operate. And that's why they can continue to scam you. Because you need them. And the government likes it. The government likes it because they continue to allow them to scam you. And the government gets rich off of that. Because who buys the government's debt when it comes to bonds and everything else? Well, the banks do. So the government can't piss the banks off or they won't buy the debt. And the next thing you know, then who's got to pay for the debt? It's the United States citizens, right? Ultimately, we pay for it anyways, right? Ultimately, we pay for it all anyway. So it's all a fucking scam. Then they hit you with the it's FDIC. Yeah, it's FDIC. Yeah, no, you're scamming everybody. We're on it today. Fat Belly, what's going on? Did you just say Bitcoin's a Ponzi? Come on, man. You can't say that. You got to prove that out. They're all scams. Banks are just ridiculous. Every time a banker opens his mouth, they're lying. You just know. I can see BVS losing to zero too. So I can see it losing to zero. I can see it making a lot of people money. I can see it losing to zero. But that's why you see these online lending protocols, with crypto gaining so much steam. Aave. Look at Aave. You got Bitcoin. You can borrow against it. You know what I mean? You can go borrow against it. Yeah, the interest rate's a little bit higher, but at the end of it, what do you get back? You get all your Bitcoin back if you pay it back, right? If you don't pay it back, they just take your Bitcoin. The government is going big on Crow. They're going big on Crow. They're going big on crypto in general because they know. Here's the thing: people may not like Trump, and I don't agree with everything Trump does. Right? I don't agree with 80% of what Trump does. But the one thing I can say is the one thing that he does understand is this financial system is not going to work. The financial system that they have in place is not going to work. It's not going to work for people in general. You can't run up a deficit of $4 trillion in interest rate alone and say this is working. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. And you debank people. You debank the poor, you debank the minorities, you debank the poor, you debank people. And it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And the deficit's so high, you can't pay the deficit back. You can't pay the deficit back at $4 trillion. Who's paying that? Who's going to pay that deficit? That's just interest alone. Who's going to pay that? Who can afford to pay that? The United States of America can't afford to pay that debt. They ran it up, but they can't afford to pay it. The politicians did a great job of spending money. But now when it comes to, I told you guys years ago, I said the bill's going to come due one day. And when the bill comes due, America's going to have a hard conversation with themselves. What's important and what's not important, because they're not going to be able to do everything. And people are going to bitch. They're going to complain. It's not going to work out well for everybody. So have your money in a place where it's not going to be affected by that. Because people's money will be affected. People always say, well, the rich has to pay more. Well, the rich pay 80% of the taxes. Believe you me, taxes on $1 billion is a whole hell of a lot more. Taxes on $1 billion at 5% is a whole hell of a lot more than somebody paying 20% that makes $60,000 a year. That billionaire is paying a whole hell of a lot more inside the tax system than you are. And if people fill out tax returns and if they're tax forms and they get a tax return, you didn't pay any taxes. If you get a tax return, you didn't pay any taxes. You can't have a system like that. It's going broke, and I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. It's math. It's simple math. You can argue it any way you want, but it's simple math. If you pay $5,000 in taxes and you get a $2,000 return, you profited $2,000 off of taxes, based off of what you wrote off, based off of all that stuff. You ended up profiting $2,000. You didn't pay anything. I'm sorry for people that that don't like that or don't agree with that or just say, oh, we got a tax return. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You guys get me going on this government stuff, and then you guys keep going. But it is what it is. I will guarantee you, Jeff Bezos pays more in taxes than probably everybody who works at a certain corporation. He probably pays more in taxes per year. He's a billionaire. His 5% is a whole hell of a lot more than everybody else. The top 10% of people in the United States pay 80% of the taxes. But because they don't pay at a rate of a 20% tax rate, everybody says, well, tax them at 20%. Well, if you do that, then they're just going to move their money to like Europe or somewhere like that, and you're going to lose all that tax revenue. Is that smart? Because who's going to make up the 80%? It's not going to be the poor people. It's going to be the middle class. It's going to make up exactly what they lose. And then we're going to end up getting screwed again. And that's just the way the world works. It's the way the world works. It's unfortunate. It's a crappy situation, but that's why we invest in crypto, because we don't have to worry about that shit. Well, all right, y'all, we out of here. I ran on overtime today, and it is what it is. Happens sometimes. You guys have a great Friday. Long weekend, y'all. Enjoy it. Expect the markets to go down today. It always do on a long weekend. Expect it. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Like I said, Friday fun day, baby. We are streaming here, and we do what we do. You guys have a great day. We're up out of here, man. And you guys have a great long weekend. Go enjoy yourself. Go touch some grass. Go do something. Get out of the charts. Go do something. Enjoy yourself. But pay attention to the news. A lot of good news coming out. So with that, we up out of here. Peace.